Civilization is one of the most prestigious gaming franchises still in production today and has sold more than 33 million copies since it debuted in 1991. Civilization V alone sold more than 8 million copies on Steam since 2010 and remains one of the most popular 4X games ever made. The newest entry in the franchise, Civilization VI, releases October 21st for PC, OS X, and Linux. Here's everything you need to know about the game before you pick it up. Like its predecessors, Civ 6 is a turn-based 4X strategy game. The 4X's, if you're new to the subgenre, stands for Explore, Expand, Exploit, and Exterminate. Cheery. Like other 4X games, Civ 6 features deep, complex gameplay with a focus on economic advancement and technological research development, as well as multiple routes to victory. The goal for Civ is to build an empire that stands the test of time from the Stone Age to the Information Age and become the foremost culture on the board. The team's approach to this new entry follows series creator Sid Meier's 33% rule. So, 33% of the game will retain systems from earlier games, 33% will be improvements and tweaks, and 33% will be new material. One of the first major changes you'll notice about this game when compared to its predecessor is the art style. Where Civ 5 was, well, kind of realistic isn't the right word, but definitely aimed more in that direction, Civ 6 has gone a different direction with a more colorful, stylized approach, even bordering on cartoony. It's almost reminiscent of Civilization's console spin-off, Civilization Revolution. While this change hasn't been entirely popular with fans, the developers cite the reason for the decision as increasing readability of units and characters from a distance, since so much of the game is played from a zoomed-out perspective. The game's been developed in a new engine that, aside from the shifting graphics style, also introduces support for a day and night cycle and camera rotation. But the real gem of any Civilization game is the gameplay, and whoa, there's a lot of new stuff to chew on there too. Which brings us to the other most obvious change from Civilization V to 6. New to Civilization 6 is the idea of unstacking cities. Previously, all improvements made were considered to be stacked on the same tile the city was located in. New to 6 is the management of distinct districts that sprawl across the map. As you build out and plan a city, placement of districts will determine how well that district functions. For example, campus and holy sites receive a boost from being placed near a mountain. Other districts, like say a commercial hub, will have a population requirement. Wonders from previous games are back as well, but similarly to districts, wonders will be constructed on their own tiles within city limits and will interact with districts for various bonuses. Players will also be able to attack specific districts of opponent cities to affect the operation of those cities, and this may play into defense as well, such as by placing military encampments that can then help defend the city center. Each city will have a distinct appearance, which will also be reflected across all units, depending on which civilization you're guiding towards world dominance. There are 18 different civilizations to choose from, with each having a distinct appearance, unique ability, and 2 unique components. Some civilizations also have multiple options for leaders, and each leader then provides their own unique ability. Some will also add an additional unique unit to their civilization. For example, Greece has the civilization ability of Plato's Republic, which adds 1 to the wildcard policy slot regardless of government type, the unique unit of Hoplite, and the unique infrastructure of an Acropolis district that replaces the theater. If you choose to lead Greece with Pericles, you get the leader ability Surrounded by Glory, which offers a boost to culture output for each city-state you control. If you lead with Gorgo instead, you'll get the leader ability Thermopylae, which provides culture when you defeat enemy units. You'll find in Civilization 6 that each AI leader also has a specific agenda they'll pursue to keep you on your toes through each campaign. There are 5 different ways you can win the game: through scientific advancement culminating in a base on Mars, a cultural victory based on drawing in tourists, religious victory that replaces Civ 5's diplomatic victory, which requires that you become the dominant religion across every civilization in the game, and of course the more straightforward victories based on score or domination. How you get to those will depend on your playstyle, and there are several updates to each path. Take science. Researching advancements is a more proactive process, and your in-game actions can affect your progress. There's an entirely new mechanic in the game called Eureka Moments, which represent real-life revelations that result in groundbreaking new advancements, and different conditions lead to different boosts. For example, if your city has access to a coast, you'll make better progress towards unlocking navigation. If you build a quarry, you'll get a boost towards masonry. Civics are another new aspect of research, encompassing non-military and non-scientific advancements that better support players concentrating on cultural development and diplomacy over military tech. Similar to scientific technologies from previous games, civics are organized in a research tree, which requires a certain progression path to unlock certain civics. Developing civics will unlock new game items called policy cards, which can be used to unlock new units, buildings, districts, wonders. Policy cards can even be put together to form government. Diplomacy has also been overhauled from previous games, and in Civilization VI becomes increasingly important as you advance through the eras. It may not matter so much in the earlier stages where warfare is a near constant, but later on, a war will damage your diplomatic relationships more. As we noted a little bit earlier, each leader you're up against has his or her own objectives and personality, so one leader may have, say, an obsession with wonders and won't take it kindly if you're racing him to build wonders first. If you're particularly clever though, you may be able to set leaders against one another based on their own agendas. Espionage will similarly change as your civilization advances through the eras, starting off as gossip, with information being passed along trade routes and sending envoys to foreign civilizations. This is how you'll learn your opponent's agendas too, and will be a crucial element of early gameplay. Religion will also be important, particularly early on, and has seen an overhaul to make it worthy of a victory condition. You'll advance through putting up buildings, participating in theological combat, and building wonders. You can also pressure cities to accept your religion or go the more stealthy route by sending missionaries and apostles, or just by founding your own religion. Like earlier entries in the series, you can choose to play the game against AI opponents or play against other people. Because a single game of Civilization can be such a time commitment, the developers have added additional modes designed to let you cooperate or compete in a match in a single session as short as an hour or two, almost like mini scenarios. There are also options to play with non-standard win conditions, such as whoever has the most money when time is up, or who's established the strongest religion. If that's not enough for you, the game will have full Steam Workshop support for mods, so you can customize your game. If 5 is anything to go by, you'll be able to expect everything from new unit types to complete overhauls to turn the game into a Game of Thrones-style battle for Westeros. Or you can just stick to the official stuff. No post-launch content has been announced just yet, but based on Civilization's track record, it's likely you can expect 3 to 4 optional add-ons that then change the scope of the game, add new factions and mechanics, and keep it feeling fresh. The game is pretty forgiving resource-wise and will run on lower-end computers, though higher-end ones will benefit in terms of frame rate and overall performance. 2K's minimum specifications call for at least Windows 7 and does require a 64-bit system, an Intel Core i3 2.5 GHz or AMD Phenom 2 2.6 GHz CPU, 4 GB of RAM, and at least 12 GB on your hard drive, and a 1 GB DirectX 11 video card such as AMD 5570 or NVIDIA 450. Of course, they recommend playing on something a little bit beefier. The recommended system requirements call for a 4th generation Intel Core i5 2.5 GHz or AMD FX 8350 4 GHz processor, 8 GB of RAM, and a 2 GB DirectX 11 video card like the AMD 7970 or NVIDIA 770. We could honestly probably spend a few hours digging into even more of the details, like the specific wonders available, all the different units and district types and city-state types and policy cards, but honestly, some of it really requires you to play it to get a sense of how all the moving parts work together. Are you planning on picking the game up? Let us know in the comments, and check out some of our other videos in the Know Before You Go series.